At the dawn of the Second World War, the Netherlands was a neutral country. Its leaders hoped that, as in the First World War, this neutrality would shield them from the violence brewing on the continent. The Netherlands was nestled between Germany to the east and the North Sea to the west, a geographical position that had historically allowed it to maintain a delicate balance of power. However, changes were afoot in Europe. Germany, under the leadership of Adolf Hitler, was pursuing aggressive expansionist policies, aiming to bring all of Europe under its control. The tension was palpable as countries braced themselves for the inevitable conflict. Despite this, the Netherlands clung to hope. Its leaders continued to believe that their nation, with its long-standing tradition of neutrality, could remain an oasis of peace amidst the turmoil. But neutrality couldn't protect the Netherlands from the storm that was about to hit Europe. On the 10th of May, 1940, German forces crossed the Dutch border. This event marked the beginning of a dark chapter in Dutch history, as the invasion was swift, brutal, and meticulously planned. The German forces, under the command of the Wehrmacht, began their assault in the early morning hours. Their initial strategy was to bypass the Dutch defenses, known as the waterline, which had previously been considered impenetrable. This was achieved by deploying paratroopers and airborne infantry, a tactic that was relatively new at the time and caught the Dutch forces off guard. As the sun rose, the German Luftwaffe took to the skies, launching a devastating air attack on the city of Rotterdam. The bombing was relentless and indiscriminate, reducing the city's historic center to ashes and rubble within hours. The aim of this ruthless bombardment was to break the spirit of the Dutch resistance and force a quick surrender, and it worked. The Dutch, shocked by the scale of destruction and the loss of civilian lives, had little choice but to capitulate. While the bombing of Rotterdam is often highlighted, it's pertinent to note that the German invasion was not limited to this singular event. The Wehrmacht advanced rapidly throughout the country, using blitzkrieg tactics to overwhelm Dutch forces. Within a matter of days, they had control of key cities and strategic points, effectively cutting the country off from its allies and leaving the Dutch government and royal family no choice but to flee to England. The speed and brutality of the German invasion left the Netherlands reeling. The Dutch, known for their resilience and spirit, were simply not prepared for the scale and intensity of the German assault. They had hoped to remain neutral in the conflict as they had during the First World War, but this was not to be. In just a few days, the Netherlands was under German control. The rapid capitulation was a shock not just to the Dutch people, but to the world. It marked the beginning of a 5-year occupation that would have lasting effects on the country and its people. With the country under its control, Germany began its occupation. A new chapter in the history of the Netherlands had just begun. The German occupation was marked by a series of repressive measures, each more severe than the last. The invaders aimed to bend the country to their will, and they used every means at their disposal to achieve this end. The persecution of the Jews was one of the most tragic aspects of this period. Jews, who had been an integral part of Dutch society, were systematically singled out, their rights stripped away, and ultimately, they were deported to concentration camps. This dark period is a stark reminder of the horrors of hate and discrimination. But the occupation was not just about persecution. The German regime also sought to exploit the Netherlands economically. Dutch resources, from manpower to raw materials, were commandeered to support the German war effort. The country was drained of its wealth, its economy pushed to the brink of collapse. Yet, in the face of such adversity, the Dutch spirit remained unbroken. The Dutch resistance was a beacon of hope in these dark times. Ordinary citizens became heroes as they risked their lives to undermine the German occupation. They carried out acts of sabotage, provided aid to those in hiding, and disseminated underground newspapers to keep the spirit of resistance alive. The Dutch resistance was not without its sacrifices. Many brave men and women paid the ultimate price for their defiance. Their stories serve as a testament to the indomitable will of the Dutch people, their commitment to freedom, and their refusal to yield to tyranny. The occupation of the Netherlands was a time of great trial for the Dutch people. It was a period marked by persecution, economic exploitation, and resistance. Yet, through it all, the Dutch people stood firm, their spirit unbroken, their resolve unshaken. The next 5 years would be a time of hardship and resistance for the Dutch people. Their story is one of resilience, a testament to the strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity. The tide of war began to turn in 1944. The year marked a significant shift as the Allies advanced into the Netherlands, their aim to liberate the nation from the grips of the German forces. They came with strength and determination, yet the path to liberation was far from straightforward. Operation Market Garden, which took place in September of that year, was intended to be a swift and decisive move to end the war. The plan was ambitious: to seize a series of bridges in the Netherlands, thereby creating a path for the Allies to advance into Germany. However, it turned out to be one of the most significant failures of the Allied campaign. Despite their best efforts, the operation came undone by a combination of poor intelligence, underestimation of enemy strength, and a lack of coordination among the Allied forces. The failure of Operation Market Garden resulted in a stalemate, with the Allies unable to push past the Rhine. The Dutch people, caught in the middle, suffered a harsh winter, known as the Hunger Winter, with food and fuel shortages leading to thousands of deaths. Yet, hope was not lost. As the bitter winter passed, the Allies launched a renewed offensive in early 1945. The plan, dubbed Operation Veritable, aimed to clear the west bank of the Rhine from enemy forces. It was a grueling campaign with fierce fighting and significant casualties on both sides. But this time, the Allies were successful. By April, the Canadian First Army had cleared the northeastern Netherlands, and by the end of the month, the rest of the country was liberated. It was a moment of profound relief and joy for the Dutch people who had endured years of occupation and hardship. On May 5, 1945, the Netherlands was finally free. The day is still celebrated annually as Liberation Day, a testament to the resilience of the Dutch people and a reminder of the price of freedom. The end of the war did not mean the end of the suffering for the Dutch people. In the wake of the war, the Netherlands was left in ruins. The country had to grapple with a devastating famine in the winter of 1944 to 1945, known as the Hunger Winter. Food supplies had been severely depleted, and the harsh winter conditions further strained the already dire situation. More than 20,000 people perished due to starvation and related illnesses. The rebuilding effort was a Herculean task. Infrastructure had been destroyed, industries were at a standstill, and the economy was in tatters. Despite these challenges, the Dutch people, resilient as they were, set out to rebuild their nation. They repaired roads and bridges, rebuilt homes and factories, and slowly but surely, life began to return to some semblance of normalcy. Yet, the scars of the invasion were not merely physical. The psychological impact was profound. Many were left grappling with the loss of loved ones, the trauma of occupation, and the horrific memories of war. The invasion had also left a deep societal divide as the Dutch people wrestled with the reality of collaboration and resistance during the occupation. In the years that followed, the Netherlands underwent a process of coming to terms with its wartime past. This involved acknowledging the atrocities committed, honoring the victims, and learning from this dark chapter in their history. The invasion of the Netherlands also had lasting geopolitical implications. It played a crucial role in shaping the country's foreign policy, with a renewed commitment to peacekeeping and international cooperation. The Netherlands became a founding member of the United Nations, NATO, and the European Union, reflecting its commitment to prevent such horrors from repeating. The invasion of the Netherlands is a testament to the resilience of its people and a grim reminder of the horrors of war. Even in the face of the most daunting challenges, they rose from the ashes, rebuilt their nation, and forged ahead, demonstrating an indomitable spirit that continues to inspire to this day.